Hi, it's Professor Murray, and welcome to Lesson 6 in Project Management. Today I want to talk about project scope, project planning, and before I get into that, I want to do a little bit of review. Last time I talked about document skimming, and the whole purpose of document skimming is anytime you have a large textbook or a product manual or any kind of large document, you need to be able to figure out what's in that very quickly and decide whether it's something that you want or need to read parts of, maybe read the whole thing. But you can't spend time reading every page of every document you come across. So you have to get good at skimming documents. The related topic to document skimming is doing a critical review of an article. Sometimes you'll come across a article or a chapter of a book or something that's relevant to you either now or in the future. For a critical review of an article, the purpose is to make a short version in your own words. So if it's a 20-page article, you could go and highlight all the relevant sections, but you still have a 20-page article or 20-page paper that you have to open up and look at next time you want to reference it. The better way to do it is to create your own very short version of what's in the article. For it to work for you, you need to be consistent. If you have 10 articles that you have reviews on, they all need to be kind of set up the same way so that you can look at them all together and judge which one you want to use or whether you need to use them. And you need some way to organize them. You might want to put them in folders on your computer, maybe use OneNote, it's kind of a cool program, or maybe you just print paper copies and put them in your file cabinet. Now let's look at project planning. The first part of planning a project is you have to do a project charter. What it does is it tells you who's involved, what the dates are, the overall budget, the objectives, and the general high-level view of what the project is. We like to try to do the charter on one page. It's a one-page document that contains a summary of everything going on. We've got the title of the project, we've got the important dates, who the team leader is, team members, current situation or what we're trying to do with it, any resource limitations. So any of the high-level important stuff that you want to capture about the project, you put it on the project charter. One important part of the project charter is it's a kind of like an agreement, like a contract between the sponsor and the actual project team that's going to do the project. Second is you have to define the scope of the project. What is the scope of work? The scope of a project, it's a more detailed look at what the project charter is. So you take the project charter and you expand it into detail. And here's a checklist for the project scope. Important item here, number 3, milestones. Milestones can be two different types of things. They can be either some important date that can't be changed, such as maybe you need to put Christmas break on your schedule. So Christmas is a milestone. It's set in stone. It can't be changed. Another milestone is when you accomplish a certain part of the project. Maybe all the electrical is done and that's a milestone that everything is able to be turned on and operated. And here's some terms and definitions. Step 3, and this is another assignment that we're working on coming up, is a work breakdown structure. It's also called a WBS. The work breakdown structure, it's a list of all the tasks that need to be done for the project. It's also the foundation for many things that you do in project management. So it's a very important step. Two important parts about it is, first of all, it's all inclusive. Everything related to the project goes into the work breakdown structure. It doesn't matter who's doing it, who's responsible, who's paying for it. You put everything that's involved in the project in the work breakdown structure. Second is it's exclusive. You don't add things that are not directly related to the project. There may be some other activities that may take time away from the project team, but those are not part of the project, and so they're not included in the work breakdown structure. Here's an example of a work breakdown structure. This is for a new milling machine. And you can see here, this milling machine is broken into 3 separate categories. We've got purchasing activities, we've got installation, and we've got startup activities. Each of those 3 is further broken down. Here we've got getting quotes, placing the order for the machine, and then eventually you have to pay invoices. This one, the electrical part of the installation, is also further broken down. Installing the main power, the control wire, and the computers. It's just a way of creating a hierarchy for your project. Now it looks kind of cool, and I think maybe you might like the nice blue backgrounds I put on all these boxes. Actually, MS Project did that for me. It looks neat and it's easy to understand what's going on. The problem is you can't really do much with it. And I'm going to show you now kind of a better way to do it. This is sort of the traditional high-level look at a work breakdown structure, but it doesn't work for software because you need to do a lot of things. For example, with this placing order activity, you need to plan when it will be, you need to do budgeting on it, a lot of different things. So this format, even though it looks really nice, it just doesn't really work for project management. Now, there's software available to do this. The most popular is Microsoft Project. Couple problems with the software. One is it's kind of expensive. A lot of organizations don't have it available. For example, the college has it on college computers, but we don't have licensing to give to students for their own computers. So it's not very easily available. You can get a 1-month trial if you like, but for this course we're not going to use project management software. We're going to use Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. Let me show you with, I'll start with a blank document in Microsoft Word. I'm going to do that, actually I'll do this in split screen so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to create a work breakdown structure in Microsoft Project. The first thing I want to do, let's make this a little bigger. The first thing I want to do is I want to use the built-in numbering system. So if I just go a little bigger so I can see the options. If I go over here where numbers are and take this click down, I want to use this format. It gives me a nice hierarchy of numbers. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to just put in these main levels. So I'll start with purchase, install, and startup. Okay, those are my 3 main levels. Now to put in my next level, and the nice thing about Microsoft Word is it's automated, I'll just do enter here and then tab, and that gives me a 1.1. So I've got quotes, order, and invoice. And I'm just going to fill these all in. All right, I've gone and filled in my whole work breakdown structure using Microsoft Word. So a couple of neat things about this. One is that it does all the numbering for you. If I, for example, here on Move to Site, if I want to add some subcategories, I can just do Enter, Tab again, and I've got my different activities. That works really well in Microsoft Word. And this is my work breakdown structure. And I've got all my tasks listed out for doing my milling machine installation. If I like to now I could open Excel. And I can take all of this from Microsoft Word, copy, and paste. And here I've got my work breakdown structure into Microsoft Excel. From this point, I can build a schedule, I can do a risk analysis, I can do a budget, I can do a lot of different things. And we're going to get into that in the next lessons. But for now, I want you to just focus on what a work breakdown structure is. It's nothing real special. It's just a list of every activity that has to be done to complete the project. Again, it doesn't matter who's responsible for the activity, who's paying for it. If it's part of the project, it goes into the work breakdown structure. If you look at my example here, I've got testing. That might be done by one organization, and up here I've got pay invoices. That might be done by the finance people. Move the milling machine to the site. That might be done by the maintenance organization. So it doesn't matter who's doing it, who's paying for it. If it's part of the project, it goes in the work breakdown structure. Okay, that's all for now. Talk to you soon. Thanks.